Happy Saturday, my beautiful Facebook friends and family. I just had a moment on a call with a friend of mine and felt this big urge to jump on and talk about something that was brought up, and I heard from my teams like, get live and get talking about it. So if you guys saw the title, Space of Grace, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that today. So if you have any comments or questions, or if this is resonating, I'd love for you to drop a comment if you're watching live, if you're watching replay, and then share if it resonates with you or anything that comes up. Share to your timeline if you think anyone else could hear this message and think that it would be beneficial for them. So I'm gonna get comfortable because I wanna get cozy and talk a little bit about what kind of came through today. So a friend of mine was having a really rough moment with some former friends of hers. And she messaged me and ended up getting super emotional on this voice note that she sent me. And then I in turn got emotional, and all of a sudden I started channeling these messages for her. And what came through was that a lot of us right now are in a purification of sorts, right? We are coming into, and if you guys caught my last video, talking about how a lot of us are in these moments where we're kind of like refining ourselves. We're figuring out what exactly makes all of me up, right, at core, at my essence. And the thing is, I think that there are new pieces that are unfolding to all of us in moments that we might not expect them to. So I'm just gonna give, and I'm not gonna list the name, she's a good friend of mine, and the example of what she went through. So she randomly was going to get tacos, and she saw some girls that she used to be friends with and kind of had that like sink in her stomach feeling, because she was like, ugh, like how we ended things wasn't really great and I never really felt like I fit in. But they ended up seeing her and they were like, oh, hi. And so she said hi, and you know, they kind of turned back to each other and started talking. Now, I'm sure many of you can relate to this. You can feel energetically when people talk about you. And she just felt automatically that these girls turned and right in front of her were talking about her. Now, my friend used to be a very kind of everyday job, and now she is a psychic intuitive. Going from 9-to-5 jobs to what we do as mentors and coaches is really a lot of growth, because your old you doesn't fit with a lot of those people or places that the new you does. And it doesn't make the old places bad or lower than or anything. It's just a shift in frequency. So I started explaining to her, I said, the thing is, your frequency no longer vibrates with the frequency of those girls. And I kind of started sharing, you know, when people have to still talk about other people, or, you know, have to bring all this judgment, which, I mean, we're human, right? We all have these moments where we judge and we get into gossip. But I will say, the more kind of woke and conscious you get really conscious of all the things that you think and you feel. And jealousy and envy are yucky things to feel. And gossip is just energy you don't like to feel either. So you kind of veer away from that. And what gossip and envy and jealousy do is really strokes your ego, right? Because I'll be honest, like when I was in high school, I would look at all the other girls that were like the popular girls, right? And they, you know, had the perfect like bodies in high school, and they had the perfect hair and nails and life and cars, and everything was great, right? And I was friends with all kinds of people, but I had this yearning and envy for what all the popular girls and people had. And it's interesting to shift the perspective, because I didn't know in high school what frequency even was. So you have to remember, as we all grow through this life and on this journey, we learn as we go. Like, we're still learning. We're always going to learn, right? And you only can do the best you can do in that current timeline. So I was doing the best I could do in high school, but I still sat with a lot of things that now I wouldn't sit with. So I brought to light for my girlfriend, I was like, you know, they are still doing the best they can do, even if you could sit with them and tell them, I know some ways that you might feel better. They have to want to be there. So you have to remember in these moments, right, where things start to feel yucky and you're like, oh, these people are talking about me and now I'm feeling kind of like shameful or whatever might be coming up. These people, everyone in your life, whether you believe it or not, they're doing the best they can do in their current knowledge, right? With the tools they have, they're doing the best they can do. So she was kind of feeling this shame and this guilt come up of like, am I really like supposed to be a psychic? Am I really supposed to be on this big mission? Am I really like, am I crazy? Like, am I supposed to be back here and doing this? And I told her, I said, you know, what's really interesting is that you're doubting because of someone else not understanding. And when you shift the perspective to that first, right? They might not understand. They might not believe in psychics, and that's okay. You don't have to. But those of us who do, there's a whole world of us who believe in intuitives and energy healers and coaches and psychics. You don't have to vibrate with that vibration that doesn't believe in it anymore. Stay with your tribe over here that does. And I told her the other thing is, now that we can see though the difference in vibrations and we have tools that are maybe a little bit of a bigger toolbox than they have. Put it into a perspective. If you were in a competition, right? And the competition literally was using toolboxes full of tools to like fix things. If you walk in with an arsenal of tools, right? You have this huge toolbox that you like roll in and you are ready to go. And you look beside you and this person only has one little toolbox and they only have like 6 tools in it. When you become compassionate, you start to look differently in even a competitive scenario. So what she was feeling was this competition, right? Like maybe I'm losing something. And I told her, I said, start to look at them with compassion. Because where they are is where you were. You were in a space that you were doing the best you could do. And then you woke up and you started growing immensely. And now you've gained all these tools to be in a space where you feel most aligned for yourself. But you also have gained the knowledge that everyone deserves compassion, no matter where they are. Because we all have our own path, we all have our own journey, we all pick our own timeline, we all have free will. And if you choose to come to a competition with 6 tools, rock on, you could win. But if I feel like your energy is wanting to grab, more, or you're starting to panic because you're looking around and you're like, why am I only having, these 6 tools and all these other people have all of this other stuff? And then you have someone next to you that has this huge toolbox and they're like, hey, like, here's a couple tools, like maybe these will help you. That's how I look at what I do, right? When I coach and work with people, I don't ever just like walk up to people randomly and I'm like, hey, I got this download or I channeled this message and I think you should hear it. No, I attract people who want to get more tools in their life. And if I feel that, I start a conversation or they start a conversation and then I give them more tools that I've gained from my mentors that I'm still gaining. So you start to look differently at these moments that in the 3D feel and look yucky because you're on a totally different path. But then you also start to see things in a very multidimensional way. And the cool thing is that you start to give yourself grace because you were doing the best you could do in those moments. And now you've grown into a different frequency. And you can still give them love and compassion, which then still vibrates at your frequency that feels good. And you don't have to get into a frequency that doesn't. So I was sharing with her that on this path of growth, right, which I think everyone collectively is growing right now in all sorts of ways. People are going back to work and they're realizing, I don't love my job. I thought I loved my job, but then I got, to stay at home with my babies and like to work with my husband around the house and like I'm obsessed with it. So how can I now do something that's a little bit different that feeds this part of me that was so happy? You can, but all of us are waking up at different levels and speeds and we're starting to become conscious of who we are and what we need. And those of us who have been on this path much longer than before the quarantine happened are able to help you gain more tools and acceleration into the path and the life that you want. And we're able to bring you into this space of grace. And you can actually bring yourself into a space of grace right now. You can sit and say, today I am going to bring grace and love into the spaces that feel gross. I used to be a crazy party girl before I was a mom. And it's funny now because I look back at photos and I'm like, I am like so different than I used to be in so many ways. And I sit and put gratitude out all the time for the people that I've met, for the things I've attracted, for everything that I'm sitting in. I'm like, I literally prayed for this. Before I even believed in prayer, I was praying in my own way. So I wanted to jump on today to just share like this little message because honestly, like being in a space of grace in whatever level or capacity of growth we're all in literally shifts the entire thought form around the things that are shadowy and dark and don't feel good. It brings breath. And then after you sit in the space of grace, you can bring in compassion. And with compassion, we all get on a really good space together. Because with compassion, you see people and you hear people. And if they can't see and hear you, that's okay. Maybe later they will and maybe they won't. I started this group and I've had a flood of people come in, which I am so excited about, and I would love for more of you to join. It's called the Magical Girl Gang. I will drop it in the video after I get off of here. But in the Magical Girl Gang, we're gonna talk about these spaces that we grow out of, and how does that look, and why does it feel so yucky, and what can we do to attract the tribe and the people and the frequency that we're now sitting in. And when we come into those spaces and we encounter frequencies that don't feel good anymore, or people that are in frequencies that don't feel good anymore, how do we still stay sovereign and stay grounded in what we've worked so hard to get to? And then, you know, the big thing too is that you want to remember to surround yourself with tribe that holds you so deeply in these moments of doubt. I have mentors. You guys know Twin Flame Revolution. Dove and Nicole have held me through moments of extreme freak out and doubt. They have lifted me up in moments where I was crying on the phone because I didn't know if I could make it through to the next moment. These journeys are not easy, and they are not clean either. They're messy and they're hard, but they are growth filled and they're amazing. And I would not take back any of the moments that I've had to grow through. I'm still in moments right now that I am like every day growing through. But what I'm excited about is now I'm in this new platform and this new baby of Empress Nation, the business that I'm birthing right now, is to help you guys come into these spaces where you are then like so proud of yourself and so excited to be where you are. So if you guys are resonating with this, if this message was something you heard or you think friends need to hear, I would love for you to share it, to comment. And if you haven't joined Magical Girl Gang, please click above and join. We would love to have you. We're going to talk about all things real, raw, sacred, all the fun, the dirty, and the amazing parts of this journey together. And we're going to sit in a space together where you feel held and you feel heard. And it's what we all need, right? We need the tribe. So I hope you guys join me. I hope you got a good message today. I love you. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.